Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well. Make sure you smash the like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and get involved in the comment section, whether that's live or on replay. We're back in our normal office, we're back in our normal space, ready to do another night of Aston Villa latest transfer news. Look, more stories, occurring stories, the same sort of names are coming out again. We've got news about Lucas Digne, another one. Yes, another transfer story indeed for Lucas Digne. Atletico Madrid. This story is getting more interesting, and I think this one could be a story that we need to follow and pay close attention to. Second of all, we've got news on Nicolas Jackson. His name has re-emerged. Is Unai Emery going to be after the same target? His name came up a week or so ago. We're back in again. There's reason why we could go for him, and we're going to go into that a little bit more further. And then, of course, some other news. Morgan Rogers being one of those players again that is being touted. Arsenal, Chelsea, both still keen and interested. Villa will have to fight him off. Jacob Ramsey's name's come up again. All that stuff today, people. So let me know how you are. Let me know what's happening. And of course, do smash the like button for me. How is everyone? It's hot. It's sweaty. We've got the Villa water bottle. We've got water ready to rock and roll. And let's get into this one because, yeah, we've had fixture release day. Not going to say or do too much fixture release stuff because I covered that earlier. It's all about the transfer show and news today. So how are we all? But yes, twice in one day. Let's rock and roll. Let's get the first story up then in Lucas Digne. Okay, so Lucas Digne for me, first and foremost, he basically made some comments just before the season was closing, saying how he would love to have a contract extension, how he basically would love to be part of this Aston Villa campaign under Unai Emery for many years to come. But Lucas Digne was making the very fair and clear point, which is, hey, listen, I'm still sort of got 1 year left and there's been no conversations or discussions yet. And that, for me, sort of already raised a concern. We've seen that Lucas Digne has been linked to Saudi Arabia clubs before, but there is a variant on stories coming up on Lucas Digne with various different reports. So have a look at this one and let me know your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions on this, because here we go. It says, ideally, Aston Villa and Unai Emery want to keep Lucas Digne, but no contract talks have taken place yet, and he is entering the final years of his contract. He's won the list for Atletico Madrid and is amongst their left-back options. So when we're talking about left-back options, we're talking about a player in which Atletico have already been linked to Andy Robertson. Now, whether Andy Robertson goes to Atletico Madrid is a cause to keep an eye on. And certainly from an Aston Villa perspective, that's what we'll be doing. If Andy Robertson does go to Atletico Madrid, then we can rule out this signing. But we go back to that whole point here. Aston Villa and Unai want to keep Lucas Digne, but we haven't actually started the contract talks yet. And you're going to ask that question, why? Why have we not started the contract negotiations? Why have we not started the contract talks? And why are we not tying him down? What is the scope for that? So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Lucas Digne in the chat. Big up to everyone. Also, do let me know if your notification bell went on this for this live, those of you in here. And do let me know on that, please. I would appreciate that. But yeah, Michael says, apparently Rogers is absolutely not for sale at pretty much any price. So I guess 150 minimum before we even talk. Yeah, I targeted that yesterday, Michael. I said around 100 million and our ears might prick up. But apart from that, I can't see us playing ball with anything. So look, Aston Villa and Unai want to keep Lucas Digne, but no contract talks have taken place yet. Fair, that's fine. Okay, we can deal with that. But if we are intent on letting Lucas Digne leave, which could be an option, then it does start the conversations around Samuel Illing Jr. Do we need to go get another left back? What are we doing in that scenario and situation? I don't know. So let's see. But another piece of news comes up then, following on. So that was from Jacob Tanswell in terms of Aston Villa and Unai Emery and Lucas Digne. But another story here, again, from Tom Collimos, someone we've used quite often in the last window. It says, Unai Emery is keen to keep Lucas Digne, but the Frenchman has only 1 year remaining on his deal and is yet to be offered a new one at Aston Villa amid interest from Atletico Madrid. So very much the same story from Jacob Tanswell. Again, same conversations. We're keen, but nothing's happening. And I think, okay, two credible journalists there are basically saying that we should be keeping Lucas Digne, we should be all okay. And basically the interest from Atletico Madrid is just a little bit of smoke and it's a little bit of paper talk. However, this one really did catch my eye. This one did catch my eye, and it's from Marca, the big Spanish journalist. So in Spain's perspective, they're touting it like this. Atletico Madrid believe that the idea of Champions League football may help convince Lucas Digne to join from Aston Villa, as well as the competition for a spot with Ian Maatsen ahead of a World Cup year. That is what has just made me think about Lucas Digne leaving. Okay, and I'm going to come on to that in a minute. So let that one sink in. But yeah, I did get a notification. That's good. Yeah, do let me know if you did get a notification for this one. We have gone slightly earlier today. But again, I've had a few people say that no notification bell hasn't been working. And I have noticed that on numbers recently of a potential reason. So I just wanted to check on that for people. But yeah, do smash the like button, please. Appreciate that. But yeah, look, World Cup year. Real talk now. Both Lucas Digne and Ian Maatsen will want to play in the 2026 World Cup. Lucas Digne right now constantly finds himself in the French squad, but not in the best starting lineup for France, despite him having really good form for Aston Villa, being one of our key stronger players, but can't break into that starting lineup. Then you've got Ian Maatsen, playing currently in the under-21 Euro tournament as we speak, wants to break into the Dutch national side, did score on his debut for the Dutch national team. And so can Villa really go into next season with both these players on a World Cup year, which is key again to remember, a World Cup year? And can they do this? Can they both share the left back role in a World Cup year? My thoughts and feelings on this are no. I don't think both players will be happy to do what's happened. Lucas Digne, we know, basically played the Premier League games, and then Ian Maatsen played the cup competitions. That's not good. That's not good for Ian Maatsen. Ian Maatsen will not be happy with that. By the way, I didn't get an email. You should just get a notification as in on the YouTube app, but it wouldn't be an email, but a pop-up in that sense. But yeah, thank you for letting me know. But that last line from Marca absolutely hit me. Why would both players settle for rotational game time? And if you want to see the perspective of Ian Maatsen and Lucas Digne and how they shared the game time, Lucas Digne was quite lucky in the sense of he basically earned the starting spot for Aston Villa in the Premier League. Ian Maatsen very rarely dismantled Lucas Digne. And if you look at Lucas Digne in the starting 11 of games for Aston Villa, he was very prevalent. I'm going to show you this here, in fact. But yeah, let me know, would you rather see Lucas Digne leave for good money, or would you rather keep him and with the prospect of Ian Maatsen as well? Remember Ian Maatsen. Do you think this could be Ian Maatsen's season to break in? And has Lucas Digne maybe dropped off the ball? But look, out of 38 possible games, Lucas Digne had 32 appearances, of which 74% were in the starting 11. So, but his percentage of minutes is the second thing to look at, 69%. Basically, he knew he was always going to get subbed off for Ian Maatsen at some point in the game, which is true. We often saw, around the 70th minute, 65, 70, Maatsen comes on for Lucas Digne, and there we go. That's how the game sort of unfolds. So he won't be happy in that. If you go then to the Champions League, again, 9 appearances in the Champions League, 75% in the starting lineup. So Lucas Digne, if you look at those statistics alone, Lucas Digne held down the starting position for Aston Villa against Ian Maatsen. And so if there's anything to go off, Lucas Digne would be probably saying to Unai and Villa, hey, come on, I thought I was your main guy. I know you signed Ian Maatsen. I've kept him at bay. I've kept him on the bench. I thought I was your main guy. Why am I potentially the one leaving the club? And so I think Villa have a massive decision to make here. Do you go and hope that Ian Maatsen now kicks on and we've seen the peak of Lucas Digne and we cash in on Lucas Digne because I think with 1 year left on his contract is brilliant? Or is there a real risk that Lucas Digne leaves on a free next season? Because, again, if you look at what Lucas Digne is, Ian Maatsen, a youngster, under the age of 20. And then you've got Lucas Digne is 31 years old. So there is a gulf in age, probably a 10-year age gap between Ian Maatsen and Lucas Digne around there. So Maatsen is going to be your longevity, and Lucas Digne is sort of there for the taking. So yeah, let me know in the comment section how what you think. Lucas Digne for 20 mil and above at the age of 31, 32 is a great deal, along with selling Buendia, Moreno, and basic squad players need clearing. And that's the thing. It's not a necessity to sell Lucas Digne. It's not a necessity to sell Lucas Digne, but what it is a chance for us to make some good money on a player who could potentially leave for free next season. End of that. That's how I see it. So Atletico Madrid, a bit of Champions League football, a little bit of, how do I say it? A bit of vavavum of Diego Simeone, a little bit of a different project for Lucas Digne. He may well be set for that. But as it's been reported, Atletico Madrid's main target is Andy Robertson from Liverpool. Lucas Digne seems to be second choice. So let's see what happens on that one. So there. Okay, next story then is going on to Nicolas Jackson. So yeah, any more thoughts on Lucas Digne in the chat? Do let me know. Let me know your thoughts on him. Let me know your feelings on Lucas Digne. And more specifically, do you think it is a player we should be cashing in on? So Jackson. Well, as I said, we've been looking at Jackson for a while. And I think Jackson has been a player that Unai Emery wanted to bring to Aston Villa in one of his first seasons, but didn't end up getting his man. He actually ended up going to Chelsea. And that was history. But there's this idea of an Unai Emery and Nicolas Jackson reunion. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. Extend Digne for another season as we need to strengthen other positions before worrying about left back. I agree. And that's a really good point by Michael. If we were to sell Lucas Digne and then have to go spend more money on left back, you'd think, hey, what about right back? What about centre back? What about, a backup striker? What about a winger? So yeah, although as I said, Samuel Illing Jr. may be the answer that we all never knew we needed as a backup left back, and Ian Maatsen steps up into the first team role. That's something I could see. That is something I could see, that we get Illing Jr. in and he becomes number 2 and Maatsen becomes number 1. So there we go. Right, let's go to the story about Nicolas Jackson then. Brace yourselves for this one. You may or may not like this at all. But here we go. So it says Aston, in fact, ironically about Maatsen, the Netherlands have just qualified through to the next stage in the under-21s tournament. Aston Villa are ready to enter discussions with Chelsea over what it would take to sign Nicolas Jackson this summer, with Unai Emery eyeing a reunion. Interesting. Why is Unai so keen on Nicolas Jackson is the big question. Second of all, would Chelsea really be looking to let him go? Well, it does seem that Liam Delap could become Chelsea's new number 9, the new starter. Obviously played in the Club World Cup. Had a very impressive debut, must I say. Very impactful. So let's see. But again, when we go to the sources of this, it's Dean Jones Soccer, who writes for Give Me Sport as one of them. And the other is Danny Rust, who, again, independent journalist, a freelance sports journalist, works for 442, Give Me Sport, etc. So this one predominantly is coming from an independent journalist. It's not a very strong tiered source. So I'll put that one out there. It's a very low tier source. I wouldn't give this source much credit. It's like your own Tesco brand source, basically. It's not your HP. It's like a Tesco brand source. But yeah, so this bit then further showed me potentially why we are looking at Nicolas Jackson. I'm going to get it up now for you. Is the fact that it's his versatility in that position. Not because Unai Emery has already been after him before and he likes him, but it's this one as well. It's this reason as well. Says, Nicolas Jackson matches the profile of an attacker that Aston Villa are looking for, with both Unai Emery keen to bring in a forward who can be deployed on the left flank as well as through the middle, which again is very Marcus Rashford-esque. If you're looking at a player who can do both, Marcus Rashford, of course, played on that left wing. He played as a 9. It's very much a case of a versatile attacking player. And I think that it's interesting if that's what we're looking for. It seems with Aston Villa, we're trying to take shortcuts. And what I mean by trying to take shortcuts is I feel like we're going for players who can play 2 positions. So a prime example is the fact that we're looking for a right back and a centre back who can do the hybrid mould. Loic Bade, for example, being that guy, can play centre back and right back. We're looking at a winger and someone who can be backup for number 9. We've seen some of those examples, hence why Nicolas Jackson's name is now being touted around. And I do wonder if that is something in Unai Emery and Monchi's recruitment strategy is players who can play 2 positions. So if you were going to give Nicolas Jackson props, it is the fact that he could play off the left, or it is the fact he could play down the middle. He has got Premier League experience now over a couple of seasons. He is someone that Unai Emery's worked with and done really well with. It actually starts to make a bit more sense. Certainly a lot better than some of the players that we've been linked to, like your Garnachos, like your Jadon Sanchos, etc. And of course, you've still got this Jesus Rodriguez transfer that I'm going to talk about as well in a second, and I'll show you. But I truly believe we'll sell our business assets instead of first-team players. Would be better to do that, wouldn't it, Prez? Jeffrey says, I don't mind this Jackson. I think he'll improve under Unai Emery again, especially with Premier League experience. Exactly that, Jeffrey. I agree. We're not taking a gamble on a striker from La Liga or Bundesliga or Serie A. We're taking a gamble on a player who's played in the league, found the back of the net, done okay. Not amazing, but done okay. And Unai's worked with him before. He's ticking a lot of boxes. I don't know if he's got a bad injury record either. It's probably something that I need to look into as well. What's his injury record like? If anyone knows Nicolas Jackson's injury record, do let me know. But it doesn't seem too much of a gamble compared to, as I said, some of the dustier players that we've been linked to from other leagues. I don't think maybe someone doing what Rashid done left and Jackson probably would suit. He's pretty rapid too, which we do with. And you know, then who knows his levels exactly. I'm looking for that pacey. Michael, I'm exactly with you. I'm looking for someone who is a pacey outlet, someone who is a pacey wide player and can play down the middle, who can carry the ball. But it's got to have a bit of an eye for goal. I think that's something massive. And do you know what people will keep coming and telling me? And this is why it's interesting how this player will be used. People will keep saying, but isn't that what Donyell Malen is? Strong, fast, quick, can score a goal, likes an eye for goal. And I constantly have to remind ourselves that we actually do have Donyell Malen. And maybe it's the biggest problem that I have with Donyell Malen is I've got no idea what position he plays. So that's why I question the role of Donyell Malen again and again and again. Why do we keep getting linked to these wide forwards? Why do we keep getting linked to these backup number 9s? When shouldn't we really have one already there in Donyell, if that makes sense? So, yeah, an interesting discussion, definitely to be had on that sense. But yeah, appreciate it. Do keep letting me know your thoughts on the following players: Lucas Digne, Ian Maatsen, and Nicolas Jackson. That's who we've discovered so far. So my only problem or concern, should I say, is what will the price be to sign Nicolas Jackson? Are we going to be paying an arm and a leg for a player that we don't really want to be splashing too much? And what are his wages like? What are his wages like for him to come to Aston Villa? It's a constant thing. We know our wage bill's a problem. So that's the next question I always ask. What are his wages like? Okay, next story. We sort of covered this one yesterday, but I wasn't able to share it on my screen. It's about Morgan Rogers. Aston Villa are braced for further interest in Morgan Rogers with Chelsea known admirers, while Arsenal are also monitoring developments closely. It is understood Villa intend to resist offers and have no plans to cash in on him at this stage. Go away, Arsenal and Chelsea, is all I can say. Go away. Further interest. Okay, that's fine. You can be interested in Morgan. It's, again, for me, probably credit to Morgan Rogers himself. It's credit to what he's done in his game in the space of such a short time. Remember, Morgan Rogers joined us in January of last season. So he's had a season and a half at Aston Villa. And now he's got Chelsea and Arsenal both knocking and showing interest and saying, hey, we like this guy. And Villa, clearly, Unai Emery, want to build the team around him. Because when you're basically saying that you're going to resist all offers, you're going to resist all payment, you're going to resist all sort of transfer money thrown at you, you know you've got a top player there. You know you've got a player that you want to build your team around. And I'm all for that. I'm absolutely all for Aston Villa being built around Morgan Rogers. He's everything I love in a footballer. He's raw, he's a ball carrier, he's strong, he's quick, he's got great game intelligence, he's pretty adaptable. And he has chipped in at key times with goals and assists and wants to probably further continue that. So, yeah, Chelsea and Arsenal will continue to show interest. I'm surprised there's not more teams. I'm surprised the likes of Man City, their name hasn't come up again. I'm surprised that they, even to extent Liverpool, I'm not surprised all the big boys aren't knocking at us going, hey, what's the crack with Morgan Rogers? Villa, we know you need money. What can we do? So that's how I see it as. So massive compliment to Morgan Rogers. But as this is reported, it's only interest, it's only speculation, and they're going to monitor him. Well, Arsenal love to monitor but do nothing about things. So I don't really worry about Arsenal in that sense. But we will be resisting offers, and offers we shall resist. So, yeah, as Michael has said, Unai will build the team around Rodgers 100%. And apparently Nicolas Jackson on 100k at Chelsea. Probably could slot in on our wage bill on that, in that sense. So that's okay. He's nothing too ridiculous. He's not Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford type wages. So, look, we are still 12 days away from 30th of June. We're still looking at movement going out. We're still waiting to see what happens. But there we go. And look, if Morgan Rogers, again, if you having a look at this evaluation on Jacob Ramsey, the rumours going around, it's thought Jacob Ramsey would be available from Aston Villa for about 40 mil. So if Jacob Ramsey's 40 mil, then definitely I think Morgan Rogers is twice the player of JJ. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I really believe in Morgan Rogers. Then yeah, that 80 to 100 million evaluation definitely seems right. But 40 mil for Jacob Ramsey. Are Villa getting a good deal out of that? 40 million pure profit from an academy graduate. Is that good money for a player who has a very, very bad injury track record, but is also a player with a lot of raw talent on the periphery of the England squad? When he gets a few run of games, looks dangerous, but also can be frustratingly inconsistent. Is cashing 40 million on Jacob Ramsey, again, a genius move, a smart move, a clever move? Or is it simply one that Aston Villa will not and cannot do? Do let me know. And Jeffrey is saying, I'll be surprised if we get 40, 100%. I was shocked when I saw that price tag of Jacob Ramsey, and I thought, you know what? Let's see if someone like Newcastle may come in with that figure. Maybe he is the player that leaves. We'll have to see. If we're taking JJ pre-injury, then it's at least 70 million. Unfortunately, though, that's the thing. He's almost had too many injuries that I don't think we're ever going to see that Jacob Ramsey again. And I think we, as Villa fans, keep sitting and waiting, going, the best of Jacob Ramsey's yet to come. We're going to see Jacob Ramsey explode. This is going to be Jacob Ramsey's season. And every time we say that, he then gets marred with an injury. And that's the bottom line with Jacob Ramsey. Injuries have scuppered, faltered his way, his path. And it's not been pretty for him at all. So there we go. Another story on Enzo Barrenechea has come up as well. So do keep getting in the comment section. Do smash the like button as well. I do appreciate it. As I said, I'm on slightly earlier today because we'll be going over to Big Up for our Club World Cup watch along. Real Madrid versus Al Hilal. Should be a good one. Should be an interesting one. Man City have just played their game with their new signings involved. And that's why the transfer window has been so interesting, is that, the likes of Ryan Cherky and Aït-Nouri and stuff have been available for Man City right from the off, and Rangers. And if you think about it, what an advantage this is for Man City and Chelsea for a pre-season. Bleeding their new players in a pre-season, because this is pre-season basically. They haven't had a holiday or rest. This is Chelsea and Man City's pre-season. And you could say they've got a massive advantage over everyone else in the league because they've got to start early. And that's dangerous with Man City. That is dangerous. Enzo Barrenechea then. Here we go. Michael's saying he was rushed back after his Euro injury. A bit of rest, he'll be fine. I think there's plenty more to come from him. I like the positivity, Michael. So you're basically saying you'd keep JJ from what I'm reading from you. Is that the vibe that you'd keep JJ? Enzo Barrenechea will have many options in the transfer market. Aston Villa want 9 to 12 million plus bonuses. We've got to be going the higher end of that, haven't we? We've got to be going to that 12 million plus bonuses end. There are 5 or 6 interested clubs, but Valencia aren't one of them unless he is available again on loan. Damn. Now, I thought Valencia would be really keen for a player who's done so well for them, who's slotted into their system, who absolutely flourished, and hence why he's getting all this, attention now. Enzo Barrenechea is getting this attention now because of how well he did for Valencia. But apparently 5 or 6 clubs interested in him. Bring it on. Let's start a bidding war. We now know that he's going. We now know that Unai Emery is basically not keeping a plan for him. So why don't we get a bidding war? Why don't we try and max out as much as we can for Enzo Barrenechea and take it like that? And I still know there'll be a lot of people frustrated, absolutely frustrated to not be able to see Enzo have a go on the Aston Villa shirt, play a proper season, and see what his worth is like. Instead, it's a player that through a PSR dodgy dealing with Dougie Luiz, we've loaned back out and just decided let's cash in, and he's basically just been a money product in the end, as brutal as that sounds. So yeah, Mike said, we're watching all the goals from last season. Every time JJ scores assists, I get goosebumps. He's great. He has actually scored some big goals for us in big games. When you think about it as well, some of those games that he did score in. So yeah, I get you. Okay. Final story. We reported the other day from Fabrizio Romano that we were interested in Real Betis winger Jesus Rodriguez, the pacey winger, playing currently for Spain under-21s, a real handful, someone that has a lot of raw talent, but not much end product. But it says this, Como are pushing for Real Betis winger Jesus Rodriguez. Cesc Fabregas has spoken with the player, and the Italian club is seriously considering making an official offer to Betis. RB Leipzig are also keeping a close eye on the situation. So, this guy again is costing a lot of money. 35 to 50 mil is the price for the youngster Jesus Rodriguez. The fact that Cesc Fabregas has already spoken to him and then probably going to make an offer makes me think that Aston Villa will probably lose out on Jesus Rodriguez again. And that's another youngster slip through, our net. We've lost Nipam to Man City. We're now going to lose Jesus Rodriguez. And it could be another sign of a frustrating window for Aston Villa. And that's what I keep saying is that we keep getting linked to these players, and especially the younger ones where we're trying to give a project and say, come here and you get this and get that. It's not happened. So if we lose out on Jesus Rodriguez, it'd be an interesting sign. Trent Hate Watch, absolutely. We'll be doing that on Big Up Fraser. I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings on that when he touches the ball, or hopefully you're booing from your house. Might just move on. I feel that there's more talk media about players leaving Villa than coming in. That's the thing. It's a very, very mixed bag. It's because of that PSR looming deadline, 30th of June. So naturally, the media are forcing the exits, the narratives. Your Ramseys, your Lucas Digne, your Emi Martinez's, your Leon Bailey's, your Enzo Barrenchea's. They're all being put out there because it's money that Villa need. But yeah, Michael said apparently lost the ball a lot and looked lazy in under-21s. So I basically compared Jesus Rodriguez to Adama Traore. I'm not a fan of Adama Traore. He's a 100-meter sprinter. He can run great in a straight line. He can be impactful every now and then against a team that is like Man City away from home because you can counter-attack. But apart from that, when Villa come up against these low blocks, you don't need a player like Adama Traore or Jesus Rodriguez. You need technical players, and I think that's where I'm at with that one. So, yeah, Como interested in him. Let's see how that one lands. But yeah, big up to everyone. We are going to flip over to the other station now onto Big Up. Yeah, I'm gonna just put something in comments now. So yeah, we are about to go over there. I'm going to put this in the link now. So join us for a watch along in here. That would be much appreciated. And you can come over and have your say. If you want to further discuss more Villa stuff, then you can. But yeah, come along, say hello in this chat. We've got Real Madrid versus Al Hilal. It's on Channel 5. A Club World Cup game. We want to see what Real Madrid are looking like against Al Hilal, who've got some of the Premier League merchants. And of course, Al Hilal was one of the teams that were linked with Yuri Tillemans, if I remember correctly. So come over to Big Up. As I said, I'll show you on the screen right now. We're going to head over there in a second. It's right in here. Jamesy Boy, you can see he's already in the chat. Big Up. Jamesy Boy's back. Jamesy Boy is back. And you can see he'll be over there. So come and join us on the Big Up profile for a watch on of Real Madrid versus Al Hilal in the Club World Cup. That link is just there. Brainly Brian has just come in. Let's go for Gyökeres. Big up to you. We are leaving now. I mean, if we could land Gyökeres, it'd be absolutely goated. No one seems to be able to land Gyökeres at the moment. And Sesko, of course, to Arsenal as well. So it's all gun-ho. But yeah, people, really appreciate your support tonight. If you are watching on replay and you've watched this as well, then big up to you. And yeah, we're going to be heading over. Click this link. It takes 10 seconds of your time to come over there, and we're going to enjoy some football tonight. People, enjoy. Big up, bless up, and I'll see you in another show. Ta